introduce yourself because I've tried to pronounce your name a million times.
Yeah. So my name's Radomir.
Yeah.
I am from Ukraine, as you can see. I am here for 3 years in a row, and I am well aware of what is going on in Ukraine right now.
Yes. Almost. What's your opinion on what is happening there at the moment?
That's hard to tell because I do have friends in both sides, like in Ukraine and in Russia, and not only between the common folks, but between military as well. So I do see like one my friend is on the front fighting with another my friend possibly, and that couldn't be more worrying, more concerning at all, because that's hard for me to even tell whether or not I should root for someone of them, because that's just one of my good friends killing another, and that's hard.
Yeah. And do these friends know each other before this conflict? And what is their opinion towards each other, just as humans?
I only have opinion of my Ukrainian friend because he's allowed to go to the internet, and he says that's totally horrible, but they will try to defend their land as hard as possible, because despite the fact that he knows someone of Russian army as well, he just couldn't leave his country to be destroyed and devoured. And my Russian friend, he's not allowed to go to the websites, to the internet at all. So I don't even know if he's alive at this point.
Yeah, it's incredibly hard.
It is.
And I'm guessing there's a lot of Ukrainian men and women like yourself that are very much in the same sort of thought, that you have friends on both sides that are killing each other.
It is. They are. So basically, I have a few friends in Ukraine that are currently on the front line, and despite they have a lot of friends in Russia, in country, in forces, and etc., and they just they won't give their towns, their country just like that, because they have friends, because friends is sacred in some way, but their freedom is something beyond sacred.
Yeah. And do you see that the Russian invasion is a threat on the freedom of Ukraine, the Ukrainian people?
I believe that's my mother said, but I do think that any invasion is a threat for the one who's been invaded, because there's no such thing that attacking common folks for their own cause.
Yes. Do you think that Russia has any justification for their invasion?
On the Russian side, they say that they have a justification because for some reason Ukraine is a threat, but I can't possibly see how Ukraine can be a threat to a nuclear country with even if they have some kind of army. That's just ridiculous.
Yes. Have you thought about fighting for the Ukrainian side and the militia, or?
I've spoken with my colleagues who are currently on the front line and asked if I should join them. They've said that it's one manpower within the Ukraine is not that big of a difference, but one manpower within of Belgium that can go for a manifestation, organize some kind of charity organization that will provide support, like finance support, army support, and all of this stuff is more. It will make more difference. So I just should stay here and fight as I can.
Yeah. So you're here fighting that financial and I guess equipment. You're doing that fight for Ukraine.
Yeah, I've already founded a charity organization that is currently helping people with helping Ukrainian people that bring in here refugees, that take some kind of heaters, food rations, the plates, the armor vests, even the guns if possible, and send it back to Ukraine to help the people out there.
And where do you think this war is going to lead? Do you think it's going to lead to Ukraine becoming Russia, or, as Lada said, that to free the Russians? I guess that's the two sides of the coin. Where do you believe this will lead?
That's totally depends not on Ukrainian and not even on Russian, but on an impact of Russian financial system during this time. So basically, it's all depends on NATO and and the rest of the world, because despite the fact that Russia is invading Ukraine pretty hard, every day is like a ticking time bomb for them, because the financial system is collapsing, and we can see that directly. So basically, it's a lot of minuses for the Russian government and Russian folks, and and as the main part for the Russian business, because the Russian business is the one that supplies the army, the one that supplies the common folks, the one that supplies the corporations in Russia. So basically, as long as the Russian business can hold on this situation, war will continue. But if the Russian business will fall, the war will stop at that time. So basically, it depends only on that.
And do you think the sanctions put against Russia have been fair and just?
The sanctions that put it in Russia are not always just. That's hard for me to tell as an Ukrainian, but recently they've blocked funds of Central Bank of Russia, and as I've known from the lawyers, that's totally something that no one can do. But I mean, that's a war. So basically, how can laws work right now in a wartime?
Yeah, it's difficult.
And anyways, the breaking the law with a central bank won't make anyone die, despite maybe Russian people will get a little more poor, but the war in Ukraine will make people die eventually, or is already making. So basically, the ends justifies the means.
Yes. And what is your view on that Russia is committing acts of war crimes within Ukraine and with your friends who are there?
I don't have an intel on Russia's sides, as you can tell, but I do understand that some kind of war crimes, like a missed missile that will go on wrong way or something like that, it's inevitably. But I do ask myself a question: is there any kind of can you justify killing civilians if there's some kind of military threat around? Because for me that's not justified. But as Putin said, we are not speaking with terrorists. So if there will be some kind of civilian under the terrorists as a hostage, they will kill civilian and possible terrorist, as they say. So basically, no one is safe because that's the way Putin thinks.
Do you hold any sort of grudge or hate for your friends in Russia fighting for Russia?
And those who, lucky me, I don't have any people who thinks that this war will benefit Russia at all. So those who are fighting in Russia's side, they are doing it under the direct orders, and if they will sleep, if they will get out of the army or get back, they will be treated as the military. How do you call it?
I know what you mean. Someone who's like left the cause.
The one who fled the battlefield.
Yes.
And as the laws of the wartime, they will be sued pretty badly. So they will be put in jail. So I do understand them. They just don't have a choice. They don't left it. They simply should do it.
They don't have a choice.
They don't have a choice. And I do know that a lot of Russian soldiers just surrendering as a prisoner. As a prisoner, so they are just. I actually have a good story that one tank in my in one of my villages. I've lived there for the time being. So the tank was riding around the village just to burn the fuel, so he could not go on the front line. Mm-hmm. And after they burned the fuel, they just get out and left.
Yeah.
So basically, every sane man out there is trying to somehow sabotage the orders. Just not to kill civilians, just not to kill the people that don't want this war at all.
Yeah, and do you think that's a common thought between the Russians, that they just don't want the war and they just want it to end?
Every sane human being doesn't want the war. Just to remember the Vietnamese, no one wants this war at all. And I do think that if you want to kill people, if you want to fight over something to the death, you have a serious psychological illness and you should be treated as well.
And what are your thoughts on the Westerners coming to fight for Ukraine?
You mean the international legion?
Yeah, international, like Australians, Americans, people from the UK.
I mean, it's hard to tell because I don't know the amount of people that are coming there.
It's 16,000.
Yeah. That's a lot. But yeah, I think that that's something inevitable will happen because this war is not just in the eyes of people of NATO, of Australia, of Japan, and etc. etc. That's just some kind of crazy old dude wanted to spread his influence around another country, and that's all. So basically, a lot of people are just getting mad because of that. And if they have some kind of war experience, they want military experience, they want to make things just.
Yeah. Perfect. Is there anything else before we?
I don't think so. If you have another questions, just ask, and that's all.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to gather the side of, I guess, people who have friends in both sides, because I don't really. So I think anything that you think may be interesting to the people of Australia and a Western audience on.
Yeah. As I have a lot of Australian friends. Dudes, mates as well. We've spoken about it a few times in a row. They really don't understand what the hell is going on that much. That they don't even know where is Ukraine located at all. Yeah. One my mate from Australia said that Ukraine is somewhere in Africa, and what the hell Putin wants from the Africa. Yeah. But I mean, that's totally understandable because that's a whole another part of the world, and you simply couldn't know everything. So basically, yeah, if I want to say something to Australian, to Australian people, is to look on the independent sources as you to get as clear information as possible, because right now there's a lot of propaganda, and you simply cannot be safe from it at all. So try to use as independent sources as possible.
Okay, I think that's about everything.
Yep.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you too.
I can't. Yeah.